The coffee shop discovery. Jake Williams never believed in fate until the morning. His world changed forever. The coffee shop on 5th Street had become his refuge, a quiet place where he could escape the chaos of his job as a linguistics professor. He sat at his usual corner table, grading papers about ancient languages, when she walked in. She was breathtaking in a way that made him forget how to breathe. Her silver hair cascaded down her shoulders like liquid moonlight, and her skin had an almost ethereal glow. But what caught his attention was the necklace hanging at her throat, a crystal pendant that seemed to pulse with its own inner light. "Excuse me, is this seat taken?" Her voice carried an accent he couldn't place, musical and warm. "No, please," Jake stammered, gesturing to the empty chair across from him. "I'm Jake, Zara," she replied, settling gracefully into the seat. As she did, her necklace began to glow brighter, casting soft patterns across the wooden table. Jake stared in fascination. "That's an unusual piece of jewelry. The crystal seems almost alive." Zara's eyes widened in surprise, her hand flying to her throat. "You can see it glowing?" "Of course I can. It's beautiful. Where did you get it?" For a moment, Zara looked terrified. Then something shifted in her expression, replaced by wonder. "No human has ever been able to see the resonance before," she whispered. "Human?" Jake laughed nervously. "As opposed to what?" Zara leaned forward, her violet eyes searching his face. "Jake, what I'm about to tell you might sound impossible, but I'm not from Earth. I'm part of an advanced team from the Celestial Federation, sent to study your planet before first contact." Jake's pen slipped from his fingers. That's quite a story. The necklace is a bioresonance detector. It responds to compatible life forms across species. It's never reacted to a human before." Her voice dropped to barely a whisper. "But it's singing whenever you're near." Jake felt his heart racing. Everything logical in his mind screamed that this was impossible, but looking into her eyes, he saw only truth. "What does that mean?" "It means," Zara said softly, "that somehow, against all odds and scientific understanding, we're connected. The universe has brought us together for a reason." The coffee shop buzzed with normal human activity. Around them, people ordering lattes, typing on laptops, living their ordinary lives. But at their small table, two beings from different worlds stared at each other, both feeling the pull of something greater than themselves. Jake reached across the table, his fingers hovering just above hers. The moment their skin touched, Zara's necklace blazed with brilliant light, and Jake felt a warmth spread through his entire being. It was as if every star in the galaxy had suddenly aligned just for them. "This is really happening," he breathed. Zara smiled, tears glistening in her alien eyes. "Yes, it is." Secrets in the starlight. 3 weeks had passed since their first meeting, and Jake found himself completely entranced by Zara. They met every day at the coffee shop, then began taking long walks through the city park. With each conversation, Jake discovered layers to this extraordinary woman who claimed to be from another world. "Tell me about your home," Jake asked as they sat on a bench beneath the old oak tree. The sun was setting, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink. Zara's necklace pulsed gently as she spoke. "Ethereal is a world of floating cities and crystal forests. We harness the energy of our twin suns to power our civilization. My people, the Luminari, are healers and explorers by nature." "It sounds beautiful," Jake said, studying her profile in the fading light. "Do you miss it every day?" "But being here with you." She turned to face him, her eyes reflecting the first stars appearing overhead. "I've never felt more at home." Jake felt his chest tighten with emotion. "Zara, there's something I need to tell you. I've been researching, trying to understand what's happening between us." Her expression grew concerned. "What did you find?" "My grandfather's journals. He was an archaeologist, and he wrote about finding artifacts that seemed to respond to human touch, crystals that glowed, just like your necklace." Jake pulled out a worn leather notebook. He theorized that humans might have genetic markers from an ancient civilization that traveled the stars. Zara's hand flew to her necklace, which began pulsing rapidly. "That's impossible. The Cedars disappeared millions of years ago." The Cedars? An ancient race that was said to have planted life across the galaxy. "They're considered myth among my people." Zara's voice trembled with excitement. But if your grandfather found evidence, Jake opened the journal to a hand-drawn sketch. It was an exact replica of Zara's necklace. My God, Zara whispered. Jake, do you realize what this means? That maybe we're not as different as we thought. Zara stood abruptly, pacing in front of the bench. It means you might be descended from the same genetic line as my people. It would explain why the necklace responds to you, why I feel this incredible connection. Jake rose and gently caught her hands in his. Zara, I don't care if we're from the same genetic line or if we're completely different species. What I feel for you is real. She looked up at him, her eyes shimmering with unshed tears. Jake, I'm supposed to leave Earth in 2 months. My mission will be complete, and I have to return to ethereal. The words hit Jake like a physical blow. What? I never expected this to happen. Falling in love wasn't part of the plan. Her voice broke on the last word. Jake cupped her face in his hands. Then we'll figure something out. Love this powerful doesn't just happen by accident. As if responding to their emotions, Zara's necklace burst into radiant light, illuminating the entire park around them. In that moment, under the canopy of stars, Jake kissed her for the first time. The world seemed to stop, the universe holding its breath as two hearts from different worlds beat as one. The choice between worlds. Jake couldn't concentrate on anything. His linguistics classes suffered as his mind wandered to Zara and their impossible situation. The knowledge that she would leave Earth in less than 6 weeks consumed his thoughts. Professor Williams, are you all right? His teaching assistant, Kevin, looked concerned. You seem distracted lately. Just personal matters, Jake replied, shuffling through his papers. Can you handle the rest of today's classes? He needed to see Zara. They had planned to meet at the Botanical Gardens, a place where her otherworldly beauty seemed to blend naturally with the exotic plants and flowers. He found her sitting beside the orchid display, her necklace casting gentle light patterns on the delicate petals, even in distress. She was stunning. We need to talk, she said without looking up. Jake's heart sank. That doesn't sound good. I received a transmission from my ship last night. The Federation Council has moved up our departure date. We leave in 2 weeks. The words felt like a punch to his chest. 2 weeks. But you said we had more time. There's been a development. Another species has shown interest in Earth, and the Council wants to establish first contact protocols. Before they arrive, Zara finally looked at him, and Jake saw the pain in her violet eyes. Jake, there's something else. The Council reviewed my reports, and they want to study you. Study me? Your genetic compatibility with Luminari technology is unprecedented. They want you to come with us to ethereal. Her voice was barely a whisper. They're offering you a place among the stars. Jake stared at her in shock. Leave Earth forever? I told them I wouldn't ask you to do that. It's too much to expect someone to abandon their entire world for love. Jake interrupted. Zara, in 3 months, you've shown me wonders I never imagined. You've made me believe in magic, in connections that transcend space and time. But your life is here, your career, your family, your world. Jake took her hands, feeling the familiar warmth that spread through him whenever they touched. My world is wherever you are. Zara's necklace began to pulse erratically. Jake, you don't understand what you'd be giving up. You'd never see Earth again. You'd be the only human among an alien species. Would I have you? Yes. But then that's all I need to know. Jake pulled her close. Zara, I love you. Not just the mystery and wonder you represent, but you. Your laugh when you try Earth chocolate. The way you talk to the plants like they're old friends. How you make me see beauty in things I never noticed before. Tears streamed down her face. The journey to ethereal takes 3 months. There's no guarantee you'd survive the transition to our atmosphere. The risk is worth taking. Jake finished firmly. Life without you isn't really living. Zara buried her face against his chest, and Jake felt her tears soaking through his shirt. I can't ask you to sacrifice everything for me. You're not asking. I'm choosing. I'm choosing love over fear, adventure over safety, you over everything else around them. The flowers seemed to lean in closer, as if nature itself was blessing their decision. Zara's necklace blazed with warm light, and Jake knew, despite the uncertainty ahead, they were making the right choice. Preparing for the star's hardest part wasn't deciding to leave Earth, it was saying goodbye. Jake sat in his empty apartment, surrounded by boxes of belongings he would never see again. He had kept only a few precious items: his grandfather's journal, a photo of his parents, and a small piece of earth, a smooth stone from the beach, where he'd spent childhood summers. Zara had been helping him prepare for the journey, using Luminari technology to strengthen his immune system and adapt his body for space travel. The process was exhausting, but necessary. The bioadaptation chamber will do most of the work during our journey, she explained, running a small crystalline device over his chest. But we need to start the process gradually. Will it hurt? Jake asked, trying to keep his voice light. Some discomfort, but nothing compared to what you're already enduring emotionally. Zara set down the device and took his hand. Jake, are you absolutely certain about this? Once we leave Earth's atmosphere, there's no turning back. Jake squeezed her fingers. I've never been more certain of anything in my life. They were interrupted by a soft shimming sound. Zara's necklace was glowing, but this time it pulsed in a different pattern, urgent, almost frantic. What's wrong? Jake asked. Zara pressed her hand to her throat, her eyes wide with alarm. It's detecting something, another presence. The apartment door suddenly opened. Though Jake was certain he had locked it, a figure stepped inside, tall, imposing, with skin that shifted between blue and silver like liquid metal, unlike Zara's. Ethereal beauty, this being radiated power and authority. Commander Nexus, Zara whispered, immediately standing and placing herself between Jake and the newcomer. Zara of the fifth house. The being replied, his voice carrying harmonics that resonated through Jake's bones. You have been summoned before the High Council. I haven't finished my mission, Zara said firmly. Your mission parameters have changed. You are to return immediately, alone. Commander Nexus's gaze fixed on Jake with unsettling intensity. The human will remain on Earth? No, Zara said without hesitation. He comes with me, or I don't come at all. The commander's expression darkened. You forget your place, explorer. The council's decision is final. Jake stepped forward, despite Zara's attempt to keep him behind her. Why can't I come? What's changed? The other species I mentioned, they've made contact. They call themselves the Dominion, and they've declared Earth a contested world. The Federation cannot risk taking a human into what may become a war zone. Zara's necklace began pulsing so rapidly it appeared solid white. A war zone? What aren't you telling us? Commander Nexus hesitated. The Dominion claims that humans are their property. They insist that Earth was seeded by their ancestors and that humanity belongs to them. Jake felt the blood drain from his face. Property? The Federation Council wishes to avoid conflict. Returning you to Ethereal would be seen as an act of aggression. The commander's tone softened slightly. Zara, you must understand. The survival of multiple species hangs in the balance. Then I'll stay, Zara said immediately. I renounce my position in the Federation. I choose Jake. I choose Earth. Zara, no. Jake grabbed her shoulders. You can't abandon your people for me. Watch me, she said fiercely. I won't lose you to politics and fear. Commander Nexus watched this exchange with something that might have been admiration. There may be another way, he said quietly. Love across the stars solution came from the most unexpected source, Jake's grandfather's journal. As Commander Nexus studied the ancient sketches and notations, his expression grew increasingly amazed. These symbols, the commander said, tracing a drawing with his finger, they're not just cedar artifacts, they're coordinates. Coordinates to what? Jake asked. A hidden cedar archive. If these calculations are correct, there's a vault beneath your planet's surface containing technology that could change everything. Commander Nexus looked up at them both. If we can prove that humans carry active cedar genetics, the Dominion's claim becomes void. You would be recognized as a free, evolved species. Zara's necklace pulsed with excited energy. The resonance. Between us, it's been trying to tell us something all along. Within hours, they were deep underground in an abandoned mine shaft, following the coordinates from Jake's grandfather's journal. Zara's necklace served as their guide, glowing brighter. As they approached their destination, the chamber they discovered took Jake's breath away. Crystalline walls stretched into darkness above them, covered in symbols that seemed to write and rewrite themselves in flowing patterns of light. At the center of the room stood a pillar of pure energy, humming with power that made Jake's teeth ache. "It's beautiful," Zara whispered. Jake approached the pillar, drawn by an instinct he didn't understand. The moment his hand touched the surface, the entire chamber exploded into light. Information flooded his mind, images of ancient civilizations, star maps, genetic codes that bridged species across the galaxy. When the light faded, Jake collapsed to his knees, overwhelmed by the knowledge now burning in his consciousness. Zara was beside him instantly, her necklace blazing like a small sun. "I can see it all." Jake gasped. The Cedars didn't just plant life across the galaxy, they created a network. Every species they touched carries part of their legacy. "Commander." Nexus activated a recording device. "The Council must see this, Jake. Can you access the genetic database?" Jake stood shakily, his hands still connected to the pillar. The crystal responded to his touch, projecting holographic displays that showed the genetic connections between dozens of species, including humans and Luminari, were not just compatible. Jake realized, we're genetic cousins. The Cedars designed it this way. "Designed what?" Zara asked. "Love," Jake said, turning to face her. "The resonance, the connection we feel, it's built into our very DNA." The Cedars created a network of species that would naturally be drawn to each other, that would help each other evolve and grow. Commander Nexus transmitted the data to the Federation fleet. Within hours, they received a response that changed everything. The Dominion's claim had been dismissed. The Cedar archive proved that humans were an evolved, free species. More importantly, the genetic compatibility between humans and other Cedar-touched species opened possibilities for unprecedented cooperation and growth. "The Council has made a decision," Commander Nexus announced. "Earth will be offered membership in the Federation. Humans will be welcome on any Federation world, and Federation citizens will be welcome on Earth." Jake and Zara stood hand in hand as the implications sank in. They wouldn't have to choose between worlds, they could have both. "So what happens now?" Jake asked. Zara smiled, her necklace pulsing with gentle, steady light. "Now we build a bridge between worlds. We help our species learn from each other, together, always together," she promised. As they emerged from the underground chamber into the starlight, Jake realized that his grandfather had been right about one thing: love really was written in the stars. Sometimes it just took the right person to help you read the signs. Above them, the Federation fleet waited in Earth's orbit, ready to welcome humanity into a larger universe. And at Jake's side, Zara's necklace glowed with the light of infinite possibilities, a beacon of love that had guided them across the vastness of space to find each other. Their love story had become the beginning of a new chapter for all of humanity, proof that the universe itself believed in the power of connection, understanding, and love that transcends all boundaries.